Bricks and Minifigs is your one-stop shop for all things LEGO. Hit the link below to find a store near you.
Hey, my name is Brett Donahue, also known as BDD Builds on Instagram. This is my Skyrim mock of the village of Riverwood. It's based on the game called Skyrim that came out in 2011. It's a fantasy open world RPG game, and this is one of the first kind of iconic locations that you would visit in the game. One of the first villages. And so this is just a recreation of that village as best as I could do within LEGO's means.
So obviously you're depicting a very popular game, which means people have kind of been all over the village and you've got to get a lot of details correct. So what was that kind of research process like in trying to capture all those different buildings and parts of the village?
Well, it gave me an excuse to play the game again, which, it's a rabbit hole. But yeah, so there are taking tons of screenshots, playing the game, walking through the town, trying to get all the little details I could. And you love it when all the fans come around and they immediately recognize it as, oh, this is Riverwood. So that's been fun.
Now, one of the standout parts of this display is obviously these various buildings, and I love how you've got the interiors in some of these as well. Mm-hmm. So before we dive into that area, though, do you want to talk about the roof designs? And it looks like you've got some of these panels over here to show how these came together.
So all the roofs do come off, all the buildings have full interiors, and this is a technique that's similar to what was in the Lion Knight's castle, is using the new claw elements mixed in with some of these wedge slopes, and you just stack them. It's very tedious, but I think it looks really good. And then you just have the little the panels, and they just slide on pretty effortlessly, and they come off pretty easily too, so you can see the interiors.
Yeah, very cool. And take us through some of these buildings if you can now, and just point out some of the things you could include.
Sure. So the most recognizable one is the sawmill right here, and my wife's idea was to make it functional, so it's not motorized, but if you spin the wheel, the saw blade does go up and down, which I think is a pretty cool feature.
Yeah.
So that's the most recognizable building. The other most recognizable is the inn that's over here. So that's one of the main buildings. And then there's the blacksmith right here. This is sort of the grocery store, more or less. And then these are just three houses that the villagers live in. And then you got the walls on the outside.
Yeah. And what did you try to include for the interior details here?
So most of these, I can pick this one up. This one, they all look pretty much the same. They have, your bed, you got some tables, some candles, a hearth, little moose antlers, just kind of the bare minimum. It's kind of like how it is in the game. They didn't have too much, in the Middle Ages, so I tried to be as accurate as possible.
Mm-hmm. Are each of the buildings just kind of set in like that, or how does this set up?
Yeah, so it is modular. This is the only one that just kind of sits in there, but they do come up. They're just set in with tiles, and so yeah, all these sections come apart. The buildings all pop off. I think there's one that's not, but it's on its own base plate. So yeah, it all comes apart in sections to move.
And you mentioned the wall sections, so what are the different kind of design elements there that make those up?
Yeah, it's so iconic. So you have the basic brickwork on the wall, and then these little logs act as supports. They're not actually providing any structural integrity. And then I just got some twine because LEGO doesn't make rope in this color, so I tried to wrap some twine around to be as realistic. And then you just tile off the top in the arch pattern to make it look nice.
And in addition to all of these great buildings, we've got this really nice river and kind of the greenery area. So how did that section come together for you over here?
Yeah, very tedious. It is 3 layers. So you've got your layer of blue plates, and then a layer of transparent plates, and then you have a layer of transparent tiles on top of that. So it's a lot of tedious work, and then you have some of the cheese slopes to get a little wave flowing effect. But I love the way the depth looks with the so many layers involved.
And in the very back, it's kind of easy to miss, but that bridge looks really nice as well. And you've got some great details there.
Yeah, thank you. I was very happy when they came out with that new 1x2 rounded. You can see the arched side. Those are just on, with a couple snot bricks on the ends. And it just makes it look, the cobble work looks really nice with those new pieces. And that was actually one of the last things I built, was that bridge on that far side.
Now, are there other buildings or things you wanted to try to include here that you just ran out of time or space for?
A little bit. There's a little campsite out front here with a little fire pit, and but yeah, I ran out of room. That's pretty much. This is about the same size as the village in the game, so I don't know how much bigger I would have needed to go to still be accurate. So yeah, it's about as big as I would have wanted to get.
And what are some of the details you can point out kind of in between the buildings as far as just kind of the green areas, fences, things like that?
Yeah, so we have all the named characters around. You've got, a little bit of produce out in front of the market. You've got a little chicken coop over here. And I've gotten a lot of comments about the fencing. It's just these little whip pieces that are intertwined with bars. You've got little cows, a little garden over there, a little archery scene in the back. We're using some custom printed tiles there. And then all the guard figures, these are also custom stickered. From a third-party company, so they look like the actual figures from the game. But yeah, I tried not to spare any details going through the building, like as much plant life as I can do, as much tree work. I try not to spare any details, just be as accurate as possible, and just to give it more life.
Yeah, no, it feels really detailed, and it feels like something you could really get immersed in here. So what has been the public reaction like as people have come by that maybe played the game so far?
Oh, it's been great. You get people who walk by and they do like a double take before they read the card and see what it is. It's like, is this Riverwood? And I give them a good smile, and then they realize, yeah, it is Riverwood. So it's been great. And even people who have not played the game, they still recognize it as, oh, this is a nice peaceful village, because so often you see the big battles at conventions, the big castles. It's like, I wanted to build a nice peaceful village. You give the other side of the story.
And what is the significance of kind of the rock in the back there, and really nice techniques in there as well?
Yeah. In the game, this is set in a valley, and so there's a mountain range. So the road that goes out of this gate, it goes up a mountain range, and same with the other side. There's a mountain, so this is sort of valley. So I couldn't obviously build the whole mountain, so I tried to give it a little representation over there.
Perfect. And you mentioned that you post some of your stuff online, so what types of content you put out there, and what can people find from you?
Yeah, typically I do mostly posting on Instagram, BDD Builds. I won't say I exclusively do medieval and castle, but that's pretty much all I post is medieval and castle stuff. I do have a Flickr page as well, and a couple videos up on YouTube that just show my overviews of the mocks I've made.
Yeah. Sounds good. Thank you so much for all your work here. It's a really neat looking village and layout, so I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you very much for interviewing me.